So what led you to start the business, and was there a personal story or turning point and within?
Yeah, definitely have a personal story. So there's look, stress is inevitable, right? We have life happens all the time. But I had a particularly stressful couple of years. It was 2008, 2009. I had been made redundant of my corporate job. So I've got a corporate IT background. I'd been made redundant of my corporate job that I'd been at for like 17 years. And I'd started to work with a friend in his business. And I'd moved out of my house and rented it out and was living in a new area. I had a lot of change in my life.
Mm.
And one day I'm heading home from my job and I had really intense kind of chest pains and was a little bit concerned. Even though I was pretty certain I wasn't having a heart attack, I was also like, but maybe I need to get this checked out. So I took myself to the hospital. At the hospital, they did all the checks that they do. So I would have been, if I'm 52 now. So we're talking a little while ago. So I would have been in my, what does that make me? Would have been in my 40s. So the lovely person at the hospital did all the tests that they do and said to me there was not a problem, but he was very beautiful. And he spoke to me and he said, "Can I just talk a little bit about what's going on for you in your life?" And so then I told him, I said, look, I've just started a new job. I've been made redundant, and just all these things just came out of my mouth, which I hadn't kind of put them all together before. And then he said to me, he goes, do you realize that they are all, and that's right, there was a relationship breakup in there as well. I don't even know if I shared that. And he said, they are all major life stresses. He said, your body's got some like what they call PTSD, right? There's different levels of PTSD, but he says, because you're dealing with PTSD, because your body has just been so stressed out. And I went, oh, like it was just this made sense. Right? I knew that I was stressed, but I hadn't kind of connected that all these things that was happening in my body. So I went and did a few things. One of the things that I found that someone recommended I do was this body work, which is what spinal flow is actually one of the things spinal flow has come from. So spinal flow didn't exist back then, but it's something very similar, which is called network chiropractic. I found somebody who did that. They also did a bit of other things with it. But anyway, I just turned up. I got lost actually on my first appointment. I turned up and started to just lie on the table and start to trust whatever was happening.
Yeah.
What I noticed very quickly was that I started to be able to sort out my life. I
Mm.
was able to go and talk to somebody about how to, move forward with some of the situations I was in. I just started to feel better. And then I started to be able to communicate what I needed better. And old symptoms, back pains, headaches, um, a runny nose, things that I'd seen physios and that for years started to change as well. And that's not why I went. So it changed my life basically. And I just, like, I didn't understand it, but I just kept showing up. And then slowly, and then I just found that I found more of me and I started to live a life of more purpose.
Mm.
Because what was going on was it was releasing all these layers of stress that I'd been accumulating from when I was a little kid that I hadn't realized was there. So that was the turning point for me to go, I need to do something more purposeful. Now, to the point of becoming and owning my own business, I didn't, Spotify didn't exist back then, but I was, I trained in some NLP. I was doing some NLP at the time, which didn't help me on this physical level like Spinal Flow did. So hypnosis, things like that. I changed jobs and found something a little bit more fulfilling, and then tried to do a few things, but I didn't find my calling until I kind of stumbled across, I suppose, spinal flow several years later because I'd been looking for, well, what can I do that's more aligned with me and my vision of making a difference with people, and how can I help people more than I already was? And that's when spinal flow showed up, and it just
Yeah.
resonated with me straight away.
Yeah.
And that was my turning point for me, and that's now why I've got a wellness center where I dedicate people to understand how the impact their stress has on their bodies, but basically so that it's not controlling their life anymore.
That's awesome. What a great story. So, yeah, I mean, just some points there. Yeah, because stress is a part of life. I mean, life is never this, it's always this.
That's
And some of
right.
those deep dives are bigger than others. And yeah, I mean, they can change the positive of those negatives that happen is that it creates change that gives you a better life, a better direction, uh,
Mm.
as it has with you. I just love
That's
that.
right. Definitely
Thank you.
changed. It
Yeah.
changed. It absolutely changed my life. I
Yeah.
would probably still be trying to do a corporate job and trying to put up with stuff. And you know what? I actually enjoyed my job, but I didn't enjoy the stress of the job.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, prolonged stress
Yeah,
has a whole other level of knocking us off where we're meant to be
it
going as
does.
well. Yeah.
Exactly.